That's right, guys. Today I'm here with a student from Escola Independiente who actually has a very peculiar case, and I'm sure if you watch until the end you will
Understand why?
that it's inevitable not to get results on the internet working with your dropshipping structure. How much and how far you can go financially working with dropshipping, and if you have the right mindset, you can succeed in this market even if things go wrong in dropshipping. Today I'm here with Gabriel França, my student. Welcome, Gabriel Zinho. Thank you, my man, for joining, for agreeing to take part in this chat here on
The channel.
Where are you from? How old are you? Tell us. Speak up, Douglas. All good? I'm really happy that...
You're introducing me here to everyone. I'm nervous, but let's go. I'm from Telflatono, Minas Gerais, near Valadares. I'm 22 years old.
You lived. Exactly. Look, for those who don't know, I lived for 2 years in Minas Gerais, near Telflatone, which is Gabriel's city, which was Governor Valadares. That's why he brought up that information.
Here, yes, exactly. You live nearby, right? And I'm really happy for the opportunity to share a bit of my story, and to encourage people, right?
Just this one?
This project that I'm working on, about design and all. But consistency is key for her to achieve the desired results.
So how old are you, Gabriel? He's 22 years old. That's young, right? Young enough for you to relate to his story because he's going to prove that it's impossible not to.
To succeed using...
Gabriel, I want to know when you first discovered my work on platforms like YouTube or Instagram. Your experience with dropshipping is valuable, and I'm eager to dive in right away.
It was end.
When did you become my student? Was it right from the start, or at first did you not believe in it that much? Tell me more about how it was when you first found my content. I met you.
In 2021, I was working and I wanted to somehow start a business online, make money from home, work from a home office. So I went on YouTube and searched for that famous phrase, how to make money online. Then I found several ways to make money online, private label rights, affiliates, earning commissions within courses and so on. And one of the services that interested me was dropshipping. So I researched about dropshipping, right? I went on YouTube, searched for a lot of things there and found your channel. There was a video I saw there from the time of Dropstart, and you were doing a live with the people. In that live, you were promoting Dropstart. I got interested, saved money and bought the course. Since I was really anxious, I messed up everything and she thought it was all wrong, It went poorly, many things went awry and I misspent money. And anyway, at first it didn't work out, right? In the beginning, like in the first few months and all, in that job I was at, I left without having enough money.
Invest in the store. So just to understand, Gabriel, sorry to interrupt you. During this period, you were already working at a regular job, right? Exactly. Okay. And how old were you at that time? I was 18 years old. You had just finished school, a year after finishing school. And then what were you working as? What was the job? I worked at a clothing store. I was a stock clerk. Oh, so you only worked in the stock room. You weren't a salesperson, for example. It was just in the stock area.
Just in the stock room, I was a stock clerk, and then I started binge watching the classes on Dropstash. I started investing and all and researching on your channel because you always post something on your channel, which is really important, both on your channel and on stories, right? It always helps us in some way. At first, it didn't work out for me. It didn't work out and all. Then I remember that the following year, if I'm not mistaken, it was in 2022 that you launched Escola Independiente.
That's right. It was in 2022 that I launched Escola Independiente. Exactly me.
I saved up some more money. I said, no, I'm going to buy Escola Independiente here because it's content. Dropstash was complete, but Escola Independiente is so much more, the teachers and everything else. So I bought Escola Independiente there and binged it. I binged it, man, watching your classes late at night and all that.
Watching you, Daniel, Dennis, I keep thinking, when people talk, like, man, I binged, watched all your classes, everything. I keep thinking you guys must be tired of hearing my voice. I often joke with people about how they can stand listening to my voice for extended periods, but that's just how it is, right, Gabriel? It's content, and the coolest thing is that I get a lot of feedback about that, right? The class format, which is more practical, which is simpler to understand. It's really...
The class content is very didactic. I then started taking on different shoots. I started picking a different theme, some different offers, and I put them in the store. Then I went to another job and started working at a supermarket. I was a stock clerk at the supermarket.
As a stock clerk, specifically a price tagger, I'll be honest with you, Gabriel, we don't do everything when working at the supermarket. Man, seriously, it's assistant. In my work papers, it said operations assistant.
Operational something.
Something like that. Then I did restocking, packed things, went to the register, everything. Same thing for you, right, Gabriel? It's the same thing, doing...
Everything. I even earned a good salary, I said the following. I'm going to take this salary here. I'm going to take 50% and invest it in the store to get results right from the start. Then I remember I used to start this job at noon and leave at 10:30, 10:40, around there. I only had 2 hours for lunch. So what did I do? I used the supermarket near my house. I grabbed my bike, rushed out and went to my
house, arrived.
I took my laptop, went to the ads manager, and created the campaigns.
right, to send them to the store.
Like, I was there every day, reviewing the campaigns and all that together with Dennis. I always cleared up my doubts with Dennis.
We helped Dennis a lot. Great professional. For those who don't know, Dennis is my traffic manager. He's my traffic manager in my dropshipping operations. He's also a teacher at the independent school. So in this traffic part, he's always there with the live streams, answering questions like he did with Gabriel.
There was a day, Douglas, when I was so consistent at the store, getting results, that I came back from lunch break and I was with a colleague of mine, right? He was packing some products and stuff. Sales notifications began pouring in. They kept coming and coming. He then asked, what's going on with all these sales? This notification seems to be about earning more than $1,200 on a particular day, as recalled when picking up the phone.
My God, Douglas, hold on. Let me recap this story. It was during lunchtime, man. The same thing happened to me. I got my first sale email at lunch in the supermarket. The same happened to you, Gabriel, when you were with a friend, right? Then you got a
bunch of notifications from Shopify and so on. Then he asked what that was about and everything. I told him, that I had a store here and all that. So I have a mentor here, which is you, right? Who taught me and everything. There's a course I bought from him and all that. So I started making a lot of money like that. How much was it at first?
On that day, when the sales started coming in, it was 1,200 reais. 1,200 reais in sales. In revenue, right? Revenue. And did you make a profit that day? Did you manage to profit? I made 500 reais at the time. Man, bro, that's a lot, bro. But I did something
that, like, today I don't regret. I quit my job. You quit right away. I quit. I worked at the supermarket for about 5 months. But when I started seeing better results from dropshipping despite working fewer hours, I realized it was a better opportunity than the supermarket job. So, I was making a certain amount with my salary, but with
the store, it was going up.
that sum, as an investment. I quit my job because working from home was easier than staying at the supermarket until 10 post meridian. In hindsight, it was a mistake since the company's salary was what I used to invest in the store. I realized that.
In other words, even working just a few hours, you were getting your salary there and you had the money, which was 50%, to invest in Facebook ads?
Exactly. Then, when I quit my job, I was calm at first because I was getting results. But after a few months, I made no sales and started to panic. Shopify notified me that they would shut down my store because I couldn't afford the monthly fee. I had just enough money to pay the fee or the credit card bill from Facebook Ads Manager. I had to decide between paying for the store or the Ads Manager. But before that, Douglas, I was on a live with you at Escola Independente and you said, guys, send me your store link so I can review it on my YouTube channel. There were a lot of people, really a lot, so I thought I'd be really lucky if Douglas reviewed my store. I sent the link, then some time passed, right? I wasn't getting any results with the store anymore. I remember I was in my room and I thought, man, what am I gonna do? I am out of money to invest in the store. I was truly desperate. What should I do?
I can imagine because, like, you said you regret it.
Because probably
you would have waited a little longer, right, Gabriel? You winning like that, you were already making good money, you were profiting, and then you got excited like, oh, I'm going to dedicate these hours I have in the market to my operation. But in the beginning, I needed that salary money to be able to invest in ads, right?
Exactly. It's something you always tell us. Even if we're making money online with dropshipping, don't quit your job, don't leave your work. You need to have consistency, right? After a few months, then yes, if you have
profit, then you can leave.
I got really excited and anxious after receiving advice about my job, which was supposed to make me feel more secure. Instead of following the advice, I quit my job without having any other prospects lined up. Then, as I mentioned before, I wasn't getting any results after quitting. About that little store thing, then time went by and I was desperate. Then Douglas, I was sitting in my room and I started to pray. Like, God, give me a sign, give me something so I know whether to keep going with the store or not. So I was in my room with my phone in my hand, scrolling through Instagram. Then out of nowhere, about 15 minutes later, man,
a sales notification popped up. Man, I couldn't believe it. Wait. You started praying and then 15 minutes after you finished praying. Yes, 15 minutes.
Then I picked up my phone, with the sales notification. And I said, wait, what? Sales? How is that possible, man? Sales? Because I didn't have any active campaigns. No active campaigns at all. Or maybe my store is just ranking really well on Google, right? There in the search and everything, I went to the Shopify dashboard and checked who the customer was. Then it said there, Douglas Souza. Oh, I can't believe it. Douglas Souza.
I made the purchase at your store.
I did Douglas Souza. Then I said the following. I thought to myself, it's one of two things. Either I'm crazy. There are a lot of Douglas Souzas in the world, in Brazil. Or it was Douglas Souza, which is you. Then I couldn't believe it. I said, man, could it be him? Could it be him? Then a few days went by. You posted a story on Instagram and said, hey guys, how's it going? I just released a video here on the channel analyzing stores. But the store analysis was actually my students from the independent school. And there was a store where I bought a product. Could that store be yours? I then watched the video, shaking and feeling disoriented.
Nervous.
I analyzed the first, second, and third store. The fourth was mine. Wow.
It happened in a video analyzing stores. After your prayer, the item went up for sale that same day, even though I was still recording the video in my office and hadn't released it yet. Isn't that right, Gabriel?
I couldn't believe it. I said, no way Douglas was in my store. That's not possible. Then you analyzed the store, you liked the store. Of course, you gave some suggestions for improvements and all that, right? You said, I like the store and all because the store's name, the logo, and the store itself. By the end of the video, I'm going to buy a product from this store. You visited other stores and returned to mine at the end of the video around Mother's Day. So at Escola Independiente, you teach that we work based on seasonal dates.
Right? It was around Mother's Day.
I made a banner in Mother's Day category, which you praised and really liked. You mentioned that since it was Mother's Day, you decided to buy your mom a gift. You chose to purchase a cloud slipper for her.
Cloud. I remember that cloud slipper, and the most interesting thing about this whole story, Gabriel, is that my mom still wears the cloud slipper to this day. Can you believe it? Look at that, man. Seriously, I didn't know about this. Gabriel didn't tell me backstage or when we set up this chat, and now he's telling me. How is that possible, man? An analysis of stores. Because the main idea of this conversation is to show where a student, through the dropshipping market, can get to beyond dropshipping. And hearing something like this from Gabriel makes me really happy. So thank you for sharing this with me, Gabriel. So it was that story about the cloud slippers, right? Yes, it was that story. The store also offered a 5% discount for Pix payments. Of course, man. I saw their 5% off for payment with Pix, and I thought, man, that's what I teach. I always say, guys, give a discount for Pix because Pix goes through instantly, and the fee is lower in the payment system. I went there, saw it, paid with a 5% discount. Of course, I have to take advantage of the discount too.
After that, Douglas, I was really happy. And the people in the video started saying that the store hadn't been made by a student, but actually by an agency or some designer and so on. Then people were really smart and found my store's Instagram. They're on Instagram, you know? They stayed there on Instagram, searched and found it. Then they sent a bunch of messages saying that the store looked really beautiful. They congratulated me, right, for you having checked out my store and made a purchase. Then there were your enrolled students who said the following: how much I
charge for.
That's how I got into design, through you and your video. Seeing your store inspired me to create something similar. If it weren't for you, Douglas, if I had closed the store, you wouldn't have
done the store analysis, you wouldn't have bought my store. Because this has already happened, Gabriel. It has already happened that I sat here and analyzed a certain
store, and
sometimes a few weeks pass and I pick up a form someone filled out months ago, but the person cancelled the store. It didn't work out at that moment and they cancelled. Imagine if that happened to you. I would think they didn't want to continue and I'd analyze another store. Just imagine lying in bed, thinking whether to pay for ads or the store. You paid for the store and kept it open.
I didn't close it then. Thank God I made that decision, right? Not to close the store, because otherwise we wouldn't be having this conversation here, right? And then Douglas, after that, people started coming to me, to ask, to find out how much I charged and so on. I began creating numerous stores for others, allowing me to accumulate some money.
With the store and all, but
I realized that I was very
good at creating.
I started investing in various areas after creating banners, categories, logos, and everything else.
Social media and everything else. So this design part itself, right, Gabriel? Actual design. You took the first step focused on building and setting up stores, but you realized that you had the knack.
There's a knack for design and art, right? Exactly. Then I started investing a lot more in this area, but I didn't give up on the store. But there came a time when I was making a lot more money with design, and I thought, I think I'm going to leave my store aside and start investing more in design.
And today, Douglas,
I've expanded beyond dropshipping stores. Now I offer additional services like creating landing pages,
capture pages,
sales pages, landing pages, actual websites, So I started studying a lot. I started investing a lot in this area because I saw that I was getting results. That's why I told you that back then when I quit my job, I regretted it back then. But today I don't regret the decision I made, because it was really good for me. Today it was really good.
Gabriel, it's awesome to hear your story. I'm happy to see a young guy like you with this mindset going after things. We think about two scenarios. Not leaving your job so you can save money first before quitting. That's my recommendation. In videos with my students, I always mention you should act this way because that's what I did. But I don't see a problem with you having decided to leave your job. I like to use a really cool expression, which is the water hits your butt. You thought like this, man. You burned the bridge. You decided it was now or never and committed to making it work. Today, you're offering design services. Your main job, and best of all, right, Gabriel? It's working with the internet.
Wow, it's wonderful.
Wonderful.
You talk a lot, Douglas, at the independent school that it doesn't matter if you're going to make 3,000, 5,000, or 10,000. Freedom has no price. Freedom has no price, Douglas. You know, being with your family, working from home, from your room, making your money there, peacefully, that has no price. Freedom is the best of all.
For sure. Gabriel, he's living a moment right now, and he can even say it better, that his results depend on the effort he puts in. And I'm not necessarily talking just about, for example, the number of hours. He can be very productive in a minimal amount of hours, but he can choose the schedule he works, when he works. If he's meeting the deadline to deliver a certain artwork to his client, if he has 10 days to deliver and he does the work in 2 days, then he has 8 days free. That's what I'm talking about specifically. Of course, he takes on other clients, has other jobs, but look at the freedom you have, right, Gabriel? That's awesome, isn't it?
Wow, it's wonderful, Douglas. You get to work in your room, just like you said, right? My results depend only on me, right? So it only depends on me, so that's wonderful.
That's priceless. I see your happiness in this moment. That's why I invited Gabriel to join us. Because Gabriel, he started through my videos related to dropshipping. He joined the trainings, he joined Dropstarge, he joined the independent school. He learned everything he needed to learn. And why do I mention that working with dropshipping is the best digital marketing school? Because digital marketing, for those who don't know, guys, is the set of strategies to work with sales on the internet. And I always mention this because you learn everything. You learn store building, you learn ad creation, you learn copywriting, and you learn design, which was the case with Gabriel. Among the many things you learn, there are some not even worth mentioning here, right, Gabriel?
Yes, it's just like you said, it's a school, right?
Complete. Also,
you learn about sales. It's very important. Sales are very important. For example, in my field of design, it doesn't matter like if the design is beautiful. Design alone doesn't sell. Sales are crucial and you need to understand their importance. So in dropshipping, you can have this range of lessons. As you mentioned, having a physical store allows for a wider range of lessons, making it a complete school rather than just a platform for ads. That's what's most
cool, because I wanted to bring Gabriel exactly. I'm mentioning this because when I saw his story, he mentioned that, to be honest, he wasn't getting results with Drop anymore, but it was through Drop that he got the freedom to work with the internet. And there's something I'm really curious about, Gabriel, to talk about. And your parents, what did they think about all of this?
Like, they don't really understand it very well, right? Like working with the internet and
Stuff, but
I go to my mom, I go to my dad and say, look, I work with this and stuff. Sometimes I show my mom a project. I say, look, I created a project. I call her like this, Mom, come here. You think this looks nice? After she says, wow, it's beautiful, it's wonderful and all, but like they don't really understand it very well, Douglas. This is kind of new for them, working from home, computer.
But
support was never lacking, they always
supported me like that. So I'm really happy. Gabriel, did you have their support in the beginning? That's awesome for you to say that. I had support. I always had support from my
parents, my dad, my mom. They are
people.
Wonderful people. My mom, actually, when I told her that I was working with the internet, I got home one day and she said, wow, teach me that. Yes, that's awesome. Teach me how to do it too. I've always had their support, even today, so I'm really happy about that. I'm really happy for the parents I have and the lessons they've taught me. As I mentioned, they don't fully grasp it yet, but I think with time, it'll become clearer to them.
It'll definitely be introduced more, and they'll begin to grasp it as they ask you more questions. That's what I'm saying, right? Demanding support from our parents is pointless. While support is important, as in Gabriel's case, it's not essential for achieving results. Our parents simply want the best for us. They just don't understand how the internet world operates. To be honest with all of you watching, and with Gabriel here too, it's still unfamiliar even for us who are here today. Gabriel, tell them about the vast amount of information available on the internet. If we try to analyze everything out there, we end up
really going crazy.
Because it's a lot of information. Yes, it's a lot of information. Today,
the internet is already giving you a lot, throwing stuff in your face, leading to mental obesity. If you don't know how to filter it properly, you won't be able to process it for yourself.
I understand what you're mentioning about the excess of
information, because
I still go through this today. Don't think that you, Gabriel. I'm skilled in many areas and could engage in various online money-making projects. However, attempting to do everything leads to accomplishing nothing. Let's be frank. Focus is essential for getting things done. You likely experience this too, being constantly online. But you chose something you enjoy and excel at, deciding to concentrate on that particular aspect.
Design landing
page, among other services, because I know this is really going to bring me results. A profit, and that's what's happening, right, Gabriel?
It's happening.
How has your life been after all this? Tell me a bit more about how your freedom is now. What are the things, Gabriel, that you do today that if you were still working at the supermarket, you wouldn't be able to do? Is there anything that makes you say, wow, man, I'm working with the internet and I can do this just because I work online? There's sort of two things. I can mention two things, two examples of mine. One time, right at the beginning for me, I went to the movies at 2 in the afternoon on a Thursday. I did that too.
Wow.
Awesome. Gabriel, you did this, right? I did.
On Tuesday, you went to the movies Tuesday afternoon. That's right. And I went to see some random movie, just a random one. And another thing I can do now, over time, for example, today I go to the gym, right? In the morning I leave early, but I do it. I can also go out with my friends, right? At a time that works for me, Like, for example, they don't go out that much, right? Because some of my friends work with the internet. But we can have that freedom in the middle of the week to do something we wouldn't be able to do if we were working a regular job,
We mentioned this due to the freedom this business provides. However, it doesn't mean Gabriel didn't work that day. That doesn't mean we don't work. You want to work with the internet to work less. Gabriel, to be honest, you work much more today than when you had a regular job, much more. If at my job I used to work 8 hours today, I work 10, 11, 12, so much more. And is that from Sunday to Sunday? From Sunday to Sunday. But it's enjoyable because you kind of choose these hours. They're with breaks, right, Gabriel? There are
times when I'm working a lot, I just go, no, I'm going to rest a little. I'm going to lie down here, okay?
Eat something. That's one of the main points. The internet can induce a flow state where you just want to keep working non-stop, as Gabriel mentions. But that's clearly not physically healthy and is also detrimental to our mental well-being. And that freedom to close your computer screen or turn off the computer and think, I'm going to take a break because I've already worked too much. That freedom is awesome, right, Gabriel?
Yeah, it's really great. It's really good, like you said, closing the computer screen and taking a little break without worrying, without
worrying. You'll have to
work a lot, right, to dedicate yourself. But you can have that freedom to close your laptop and rest a bit, for sure.
And so, guys, I want to take this opportunity to mention that the training Gabriel did is Escola Independente. Yes, Escola Independente is my professional dropshipping course. I'll leave all the details in the description, a link that will show you everything if you want to become my student, just like Gabriel did a few years ago. And not only that, Gabriel, can I leave your
Instagram for
so people can find you, talk to you, ask questions, and not only that, but also hire your services? Of course you can. Go ahead. But there's one thing you have to promise me, my man, that at least you'll give a discount here for my followers. You must give a discount, I agree. 10%, big dog. I like it. Good. So, Gabriel, when I see people like you who started from nothing, who are really people who
sometimes probably,
as you mentioned, you had no prospects about what to do or which path to follow and found yourself on the internet. Honestly, Gabriel, that's my main goal online, to change lives and introduce the world that is digital business so that these people can be transformed just like you had your life transformed. And it's okay if it's not 100% in dropshipping. That's not a problem. I'm happy anyway, really, I am. If you had said, Douglas, I became a traffic manager, I opened an agency, anything like that, it doesn't matter. I would still be happy because it's about what the internet provides. So I ask that you keep this mindset more and more, and may God bless your business more and more. And how did you pray that led to your sale at that
time? Keep doing it.
Praying more and more because God will show you more and more the path you need to follow.
Thank you so much, Douglas. I'm really happy for this opportunity to share my story with everyone, and to get to know you too. Douglas is my mentor. He's still my mentor today. He's the guy
that
I look up to, and I'm inspired by this opportunity. I thank God and my parents for their support. I'll keep moving forward and working hard because entrepreneurship isn't easy, but consistency is key. You will reap the results no matter how long it takes. It could be a month, 2 months, or even 2 years, but you will see the outcome.
There's no way to plant and not reap, right, Gabriel? Yes.
You will always reap what you sow, no matter the time it takes.
I hope Gabriel Signo's story inspired you. At 31, I can already call people young, right? You have to call people young, and with such an awesome mindset, you can see that he's already got a plan, already has a mindset focused on results, none of that showing off stuff, nothing like that. He just wants to grow. Growth happens chapter by chapter. That's how I see Gabriel. He has a long road ahead, and that's okay, but it's going to be a very prosperous one. I'm talking about financial prosperity, really, because of the mindset Gabriel has and how he's always paying attention to what's happening around him. So, guys, I hope this chat has inspired you. Leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and as I mentioned, I'll leave Gabriel's social media in the description, even for those who want to hire his services. Gabriel, I thank you once again, my man, thank you.
I'm the one who should thank you, really. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, truly, thank you.
We're in this together, that's it, guys. A big hug and goodbye.